So I woke up and I started thinking, people be acting the fool. I started thinking about the whole suspension thing. You know how they release the little messages on the website where they talk about, okay, we suspended this many people this month, that many people this month. Some of them were RMT, the others weren't. It tells you how you get suspended. Don't act the fool. Don't be dumb. You don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. But nonetheless, I started thinking about this and I was like, you know what? Global has always had an issue with these problematic behaviors. I wonder what it's like over on Japan. So, I did kind of dial and did some research here. I kind of just want to show you all my findings here and let y'all know how big of an issue this has historically been and what it really means. What it really means. I've always talked about it. At any rate, be sure to like, subscribe. Helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. We trying to build this GPU fund. You know what I'm saying? If there's any people in there who want to toss a $4,000 dono, I appreciate it a lot. Obviously, I don't expect that to happen, but this 50 series coming out, they're not that much, but anything helps, of course. Be sure to like, subscribe. Mwah. So for those who don't know, they do post these on the website. As you can see here, it has the account suspension due to malicious behavior, and it has a whole list of it that dates all the way back to 2022. That's when they started keeping track of it on global side, whereas Japan was keeping track of it back in 2021. But it dates all the way back, and you can see how many people are getting suspended. Global shows RMT as well, how many were RMT related, and it shows how many weren't. Whereas Japan doesn't really show that, but that's probably because they don't have nearly as big of an issue with RMT as global naturally would. But nonetheless, I went and dived and I was like, well, I imagine Japan probably has the same thing, right? As I just say, global started in 2022, Japan started before, and surely enough, they do. So as you can see here, Japan has the same thing. They update their information as well. And here, well, if this helps for you, let's translate that to English. That way, all like, well, dude, I can't read none of that stuff. So that's what it looks like in English there. But if you go to here, or if you just go to malicious user related right here, and then you'll see this is the same exact thing as what is shown on the global side. Correct? Oh, my bad. Dropped the straws in my coffee. Didn't mean to do that. But nonetheless, it's the exact same. And they shows, like I said, this one goes back to 2021 on JP side. Even though they released at the same time, Global didn't start really implementing this, or at least documenting it until. So I decided, well, let's just go through this real quick and let's kind of see what it looks like side by side. So I just kind of dibble-dabbled for real quick and made like a little graph for us all to kind of look at. So let's take a look over there. And so as you can see here, I made this little graphic pool. I had some time. I was like, let's just put something together real quick. Look at the numbers. So as you can see, global in Japan, you have the region here, you have the RMT related, and of course, this account suspension due to malicious activity / behavior. And so, as you can see, this 2024 here, which lists all the dates, 2023, 2022. Just for example, I kind of took the high dates here for the 2023 and 2022. As you can see, over here in 2024, in global, January was the highest month. In Japan, March was the highest month. So I kind of use those as reference points and put those for 2023 and 2022. Naturally, 2022 is when global even started doing this. So I was like, okay, well, I probably would put more points, but they was lazy. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Nonetheless, you can look at the numbers. You can look at the totals. Just look at the freaking totals in 2024, 3,073 suspended accounts versus 708. So you initially look at that and you're like, okay, Spike, that's fair. Well, what did it look like, closer to the time when the game was like really fresh, had just come out? That's why I wanted to look at. I tried to go back to 2021, but like I said, Global did not start properly documenting violations until May of 2022. So I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to see global side of that. So, but I'm sure it probably was pretty darn crazy. But nonetheless, you can see right here, you get 1,452 for Japan during this little section in May, June, and July of 2022 versus 2,876. But even crazier, 2023 was a popping year for NGS. That was a pretty popping year for NGS. And this is just absolutely crazy. 3,585 to a 456. Bro, What in the actual freaking flippity flip flop tippity top? Y'all done lost your gosh dang minds, bro. This is absolutely wild. And this is what I talk about time and time and time and time and time again. You know, I've talked about the problematic behaviorisms of global and how off-putting it can be and has been for the game. And you have to realize that these are resources that are being used towards this stuff in global. These are resources. Resources equals money, equals time, equals not time and resources and money that can be put into doing things that will better the actual game. Because we're dealing with all you dumb, you feel me? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely freaking ridiculous. And so I've always talked about that. Naturally, global is much better now. Let me be perfectly clear on that. Global is much better than it used to be. Absolutely by a landslide. Much better than it used to be. But it's also, you know, people have realized that they're not wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like people, all the poopy behavior, the dumb behavior, the just constant, it's still there, of course. But it's much better than it used to be. That's for dang certain. That's for dang certain. Best believe. You know? But nonetheless, it's a problem and it uses resources. So I just kind of was interested in this and was like, hey, what's it really like? And naturally, as you can see, the RMT related can be pretty high on these sometimes, pretty freaking high, if I'm going to say so myself. I mean, you look at some of these right here, 1,485. I had this 1,817 over here in March of 2023. And you're just like, bro, sheesh. Now, of course, when you look at 2024, these numbers have dwindled down as it's become more efficient. Like I said, by this time in the game's life cycle, as you know, of course, people have left as well, of course, because the game has been out for some time, but as well as they have just gotten better at siphoning this stuff out. You know, most of the problem causers are generally going to kind of phase out after some time. You know, they're not really there for the long run. They're there to disrupt. They're there to disturb. They're there to cause drama. Once they realize that they can no longer do these things or that they can be held accountable, they will leave. It's as simple as that. That works in literally every single aspect of life. Literally every single aspect of life, that is how that works. Once they realize that they can no longer do these things, there's no longer they no longer have a field to be able to do them, then they leave. It's simple as that. That's why you don't entertain it. That's why you don't entertain it, y'all. It's really that simple. I'll be trying to tell y'all time and time and time again. Don't entertain it. Hold them accountable. You know, it's as simple as that. If they ain't got no place, if they ain't getting no reactions, boom, they out. They outie. They have no power. Plain and simple. But anyways, I thought this was pretty neat, so I wanted to share it with y'all. Just moving forward, like I said, global is much better than it used to be, but I think this is also pretty interesting for people who play on JP as well, because a lot of times, you know, I talk about things from global, and there's JP people who are in my comments and who will, you know, maybe come into my stream or ask me questions. And, you know, it's sometimes hard for them to really grasp or understand just how problematic global has historically been. Not as much anymore, but how problematic it has historically been. So I think that this also gives a good insight to JP players as well, who might be seeing this, or not necessarily Japanese, but people who play on JP servers as well, who might be seeing this. So this gives a great insight into that. Some of y'all might be wondering, well, Spike, what can I get banned for? Well, how do I know what to avoid? How do I know? Well, fortunately, they tell you right here. So let's go ahead and look at that. As you can see here, when you scroll down on these releases that they have on the website, you can see they tell you, what is RMT, real money trading? Give you a whole definition on what the hell RMT trading is. Then they go down account transferring and borrowing. So, like when you hear people sometimes be like, well, I was just sharing the account with my friend, they logged onto my account or so. Well, friends share accounts all the times. Just let you know that is against TOS. Just heads up. Just let you know that. And for good reason too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's for good reason. Very good reason. So letting you know that's obviously against. So when people try to make that case, oh, dude, well, I'm just sharing accounts. So, and let me tell you, this is not anything that's new or out of the norm for anything. This is like pretty much in every single online game, pretty much has something of this degree within their TOS. Then there's obvious of in-game malicious behavior. Of course, repeat nuanced behaviors. This also includes things such as like AFKing, obstructing in quest. You know what I'm saying? That you can that's against it as well. You can get banned for that. You can get suspended for that. Keep that in mind. That's why I always be telling y'all, stop going into these LTQs, stop going to these questions, just AFKing, obstructing, because you're ruining the experience of other players. Stop going to PSEs and just AFKing there. You know what I'm saying? You're ruining the experience of other players. Plain and simple. Think about others. Stop thinking about yourself all the time. Okay? Nonetheless, I really shouldn't even have to really explain any of this stuff to you, because it's really kind of just, it's common sense. It's common knowledge. Bro, like, okay, this is probably against the rules. This can probably get me suspended or banned. Like, if you really don't know these things, if you really have to have these things read out to you, like if it not even in a semblance of your mind, you think of these things, and you don't think, oh well, this could potentially, you know, be reasons for suspension or ban, then bro, just come on, man. Let's be serious. But nonetheless, I thought this was pretty cool and really neat to show y'all just really quick, so we all kind of understand the scale and the scope of things between global and Japan and how problematic global has historically been. So hopefully this was interesting to you. If so, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Like I said, and let me reiterate once again, global is much better than it used to be, by a landslide, an absolute landslide. So, but it still has its problems, of course. But just showing y'all here what it used to be. But at any rate, like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. I will see you on the next one. Much love. Happy hunting. Spike content.